Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing your weekly horoscope forecast for the week of October 28th through November 3rd, 2019. This week for Aries. It is all about remembrance, about eternal love. A lot of you may have lost a loved one that is now on the other side, that has passed, but the thing is that I think a lot of us, we tend to fall in that mentality that our past loved ones are dead, and essentially they are alive, very much with us and present the moments that we think about them. That keeps our soul and energy alive. So a lot of you could be receiving some downloads of information, especially with Halloween right around the corner. That is Samhain. That is the day when the veil is very thin between the worlds of the living and the dead, and there could be a lot of downloads of information. Maybe your mediumship abilities are going to be at its peak, and you're going to be getting that. A lot of you are also putting a lot of things on pause. This could be your work, noticing that you're a little slower this week because you're focusing on a Halloween party or doing something, at home for yourself. But you're kind of putting things and getting prepared most of all, getting prepared for Thanksgiving and Christmas. A lot of you could already be in that mentality of, shopping, getting deals, to not have to be the last minute shopper. There's also some kind of cycle with a lot of you Aries right now, where there could be some kind of ending that you're experiencing. A cycle of change. Perhaps, you're this year, you never go out for Halloween, and this year, all of a sudden, you're going to stop that, and you're going to go out. You're going to, go to maybe a party or a club or something that you typically or normally wouldn't do. That's the energy that surrounds Aries for the week of October 28th through November the 3rd. Taurus, this week for you, Taurus, it's all about you kind of regretting something. There could be something in your life right now that you're learning to regret, or you're kind of regretting, maybe an action that you did, something that you did in the past, something that's coming up. It's almost like you're being too hard on yourself, Taurus, and you need to lay off of it. You need to quit beating yourself up on some level. I think you're your worst critic at the end of the day, and Spirit is saying this week in particular, you could be very, if maybe your eyelash is not on point, or your eyeliner wing is not on point, or maybe you are not doing as much or feeling as motivated in your job, and maybe a boss makes a comment, etc. Don't take those things to heart. Don't sweat the small stuff. For a lot of you, it's also about being in the present. A lot of you, again, are very worried about the future, worried about things that haven't come to pass. And Spirit is reminding you to stay in the present, to kind of enjoy this light, this magnetism, this positive energy this week, especially with Halloween, and choose to celebrate it any way that you want. A lot of you are going to be finding that there is some happiness restored in your home life. This could be around kids, around your family members, especially if you've had a falling out with family, or maybe just you keep them at a distance for some reason. This week, there seems to be some peace restored. So it's a great week for Taurus, and this is your horoscope for October the 28th through November the 3rd, 2019. Gemini, this week for you, Gemini, it is all about seeking something wise. Like, a lot of you are feeling like your eyes are open about a situation or a person, and now you're seeing things with your eyes wide open. The blinds are open, everything is clear, and you get that clarity. A lot of you Geminis this week, a lot of us are going to be experiencing some kind of ending of a cycle. This could be, you entering a new period in your love life, or in the way that you gravitate towards opportunities. There seems to be a transformation that takes place, especially with the energy and the power of October 31st, which is Samhain. A lot of you are going to be feeling like more powerful, feeling more connected to yourself and to others. And so a lot of you are going to be like a pillar of support to other people, kind of stepping into the role, whether you're a male or a female, of the divine masculine. And that would be the role of the divine masculine this week for Geminis, where you're more, there to provide a shoulder for someone to lean on, or, giving counseling in some kind of way, or listening, lending an ear to listen to someone and give advice. and it will keep you pretty busy, and you will still have time to be your Gemini self and have, a beautiful party, or have fun with your children if you have children, etc., taking them trick-or-treating, or going to a party, or even hosting it yourself. There is still opportunity for you to have a very fun-filled week. But that's the energy for Gemini for the week of October 28th through November the 3rd, 2019. All right, for my Cancerians, this week it's all about mischief. A lot of you are being mischievous this week. There is something, maybe you're going to play a Halloween prank and scare your children, or scare a family member or a friend. There's a lot of more of your inner child emerging this week, Cancer, and also a playful side to you. And a lot of you also are needing to pay attention to your blind spots. There's going to be some situations maybe this week, not that it doesn't apply to all Cancerians out there listening to this horoscope, but for a lot of you, there could be some blind spots. Like if you were driving, your blind spot is an area that you can't see too well in the rear view sides, mirror, etc. So like someone could blindside you this week and take you by surprise, either their attitude, some news you receive. Not necessarily, I don't want you to be worried about this or think up too hard about it. It's not going to apply to everybody. But don't be fearful of it, but accept it, and kind of see that there is some kind of illumination, some kind of light through this darkness, or this challenging, situation that you may be encountering. A lot of you also are learning to really connect to your higher self this week with the Samhain, October 31st being very powerful. That is the day where the veil between both worlds of the living and the dead are very thin. A lot of you are going to be noticing your third eye going off, your intuition being on point, and then basically just, things that maybe you needed some clarity. It's now like validations are pouring in on that day, or a couple of days leading into the October 31st, which is Thursday. But it looks like to be good energy surrounding you. And that's the horoscope for this week for Cancer for the week of October 28th through November the 3rd, 2019. All right, for my Leos out there, this week for you, Leo, it's all about getting past unnecessary fears. I think there's some situation that a lot of you Leos could be experiencing right now, which are basically self-created, and you're needing to push through this. It could be, not being with the person that you once were with, maybe like an ex-lover or an ex-love, or an ex-marriage. There is something about your past that is giving you anxiety even in the present, and Spirit is saying for you to let go of it. Why can you not let go of it? What is blocking you? What is it going to take to get through you that you do not need to focus on that person or persons anymore, or that energy? And until you let go of those shackles, you will continue to be a prisoner of your own self-created fears and doubts. And I think a lot of people listening may say, well, that doesn't apply to me, or it's hard. It's easier for you to say this than for you to do it. But the fact of the matter is that you're one of the most powerful signs, Leo, in the zodiac. You are the king of the jungle, and it's like, it's like this week you can get past those mental blocks that you have for yourself, and you can have fun. Go out there, be adventurous with your partner, with someone that you're dating or seeing, even if it's by yourself. Going single, going proud. You don't have to have a man or a woman on your shoulder and to show off because you feel people are going to judge you. So what? F them. That's what I have to say about that. This week, if you can get past that, Leo, there's also a portion of you that where you're going to notice that fortune meets opportunity. And so you have a lot of areas this week where you can create money and wealth for you, or abundance. Good news surrounds your money, etc. But most of all, a lot of you are going to be protective. There's something that you're protecting. It could be, protecting someone that you care about, protecting your own fears, like I mentioned at the very beginning. But there's something that you need to let go of completely, and that is that. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. This is your horoscope for the sign of Leo for October 28th through November 3rd, 2019. Virgo, this week for you, Virgo, it is a week in which you are going to find some happiness. There's like a lot of things going on in your life. Your social life, for one, is going to be very busy. You're going to have people wanting to talk to you while you're at work, spend hours on the phone texting back and forth. Kind of limit that because you can get behind, especially if you're trying to take off Wednesday midday or taking off all of Thursday, you may want to clear out all of your work before you take off. But there is a cycle of shedding. It's a lot of you are shedding right now. You're like going through a phase of letting go of everything that no longer serves you in your life. It is a turning point for you also. There's a lot of love that surrounds you. People want to love you, but a lot of you may be facing some trust issues or working on that, and that's a karmic lesson for you. Spirit is telling you to remember the good things, remember the good times, remember how strong you were before a breakup of any sort, remember anything that you were going through, basically to do that. Spirit is also saying for you to release some control. A lot of you are going to want to control this week a situation that may be out of your control, out of your scope, and you don't always need to have some control over that. So be sure that you release that and face your fears, at the same time. Conquer that, because the need to have control is sometimes the need to have validation. And for some reason, you don't need that. You are phenomenal the way that you are, Virgo. And this is just a little reminder from Spirit. So this is a horoscope for the sign of Virgo for the week of October 28th through November the 3rd, 2019. All right, for my Libras, this is a moment of you kind of, looking at all of your possibilities this week. There are so many opportunities, so many things that you want to get your feet on, get your feet wet with, or, get involved in like passion projects or entrepreneurial. Like if you are starting a business up, a lot of you may want to give more time and attention, but you still need to keep that 9-to-5 job. And so that's where you're going to be finding a lot of challenges this week, is kind of keeping yourself on pace. But the thing that's very interesting for my Libras out there is that there is change coming. It's inevitable. The universe is at a point where maybe a lot of you may be stagnated right now and paralyzed by comfort or fear of change to a new job or a new home. Spirit is going to basically push you and give you that final push, even if you like it or not. For a lot of you, there's change that's going to be forced upon you, because otherwise you won't get out of this stagnated cycle that you've been in for quite some time, Libra. And so don't be surprised, that if you get uncomfortable and it gets kind of, you being in your emotional state and being vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable once in a while. The best of us and the strongest of us go through it, but go through it gracefully. Don't focus too much or have like a woe as me complexity, but rather approach it from a standpoint that you're a warrior prince or princess and you got this shit. You can pull through it. And so that's the kind of the message this week for all of my Libras out there for the week of October 28th through November the 3rd, 2019. All right. For my Scorpios out there, this is Scorpio season. A lot of you are going to be finding that even in loss, even if you've experienced some kind of loss this week, whether it's a breakup or a separation or just you cutting ties with your employer, whatever it is, you are blooming. And it's weird because a lot of Scorpios typically during this time of the year, even though it is your season, a lot of you may be kind of a little slower, not wanting to, make drastic changes in your life. But for some reason this week, I don't know if it's the energy of Halloween on the 31st, the veil is going to be very thin between both worlds of the living and the dead, but I feel like there's some ancestors helping you from the other side, Scorpio. They're helping you and giving you some power, through your ancestral bloodline. A lot of you are getting that power and that energy and that courage that you have already, that you possess deep inside. And a reminder that you are the shit, that you are, you got it. You have everything it takes. You can pull through any situation, no matter how painful it may be. So take back your power. And in fact, this week, a lot of you are going to be reminded of your own kindness and sweetness. Maybe a lot of you have turned kind of, away from your emotions, and you don't really tell people that you love them, or use the word love, or, that you care about someone, or you do something nice like buying someone a lunch or bringing them breakfast, some donuts on a Friday. But this week, it seems like you are entering a more happy period, and you could actually be, doing this, and it's going to keep people in what really happened to her or him, because they really don't expect that you being a Scorpio. Also your more passionate side, for those of you that are in relationships or starting one, could really emerge, and you could take a relationship to the next level and really introduce more of your spicy side. So this week is going to be all about your sexiness and your sexuality, and really, using the 31st, the end of October, that day in particular, to kind of show your power and your glamour and your magnetism. And it's going to be something where a lot of people are going to notice something's different about you. So that's a horoscope this week for Scorpio for October 28th through November the 3rd, 2019. Sagittarius, this week for you, Sagittarius, I see a lot of you using your emotions to show your intelligence. A lot of you are going to be more maybe seduced by someone that is intellectual, especially if you're single. And let's say you go to a party and you meet someone. But even if it's not that, a lot of you are going to be more stimulated intellectually by people around you. Those conversations where it's not about, gossiping or about fashion or money and stuff like that, but it's more about life issues and, maybe technology and things that are kind of fall in the spectrum of more of a nerdy, side. It could actually, sorry, I burped there. It could be one of those situations where you're very much in tune with that, in sync with another person on that level, and you're both having that conversation going on. A lot of you also are kind of looking more from the inside out. Maybe you're more of a homebody, and for Sagittarius, that's not uncommon all the time. There's some that are extroverted, some that are introverted, but I feel like this week a lot of you are going to be wanting to stay closer to your home, or stay with a group of friends that like familiar territory. And I feel like Spirit is pushing you the opposite direction. They want you to kind of be more of the wild child, not necessarily like I'm saying wild, like being, going out there and smoking and drinking and, just acting dumb and participating in that foolery. No, Spirit is wanting you to really explore the part of you that yearns to be free and let loose and let your hair down and just be free. I feel like so many of you Sagittarians are kind of ruled sometimes by your own, social conditioning that you've gone through with your parents or friends, that you have to act a certain way or be a certain way. But I feel like a lot of you this Halloween are going to maybe wear that sexy outfit, or wear, something that is fun and funky and maybe like scary. It doesn't matter. It can be an array of different situations or scenarios. But the thing here is that I feel like a lot of you are going to be feeling a little bit more freedom and not confined to being who you typically are. It's like your inner child is awake and you can finally reconnect to that. Something about Halloween and the magic and the power of that day kind of connects everybody on a deeper level, and I feel like that's what we're going to see this week for Sagittarius. Capricorn, this week for you Capricorn, it's about reducing the burden, forgiving someone that's hurt you, even though you don't want to get into that melancholy state, or not melancholy, but more of a serious or monotonous area of your life that you may not enjoy discussing with others or opening about. Maybe it was some form of abuse that you went through. Whatever it is, it's about forgiveness this week. I feel like the energy of Scorpio season, a lot of you Capricorns out there are going to feel like, you need to start letting go of something to heal. So I feel like a lot of you are going and shedding your old self on some level, or shedding your old skin, and developing a new outlook, like a new outlook on life that's more positive, and you're no longer going to be riddled by regrets or the things that you didn't do. Spirit is saying is that what it's saying is that you don't have to regret anything. That's why we have always tomorrow to initiate something. Don't be paralyzed by your fears, but instead move forward. And if it's like you want to be successful and you want to have money, don't just sit there and dwell on it. Act on it. If you want something, think about becoming an Uber driver. Think about, taking a second part-time job. I think we a lot of times make excuses for ourselves when it comes to money, but Capricorn is one of the signs that's one of the hardest working signs out there. So that shouldn't be a problem. It's about battling your mental side, and balancing it out with your emotional side and spiritual side, and having it all in sync. And I feel like a lot of you will actually get to that level this week. So this is a horoscope for Capricorn for the week of October 28th through November the 3rd, 2019. Aquarius, this week for you, Aquarius, it's all about protection. A lot of you are going to be a little bit more sensitive this week, even though you're around people, going to parties, having a good time for Halloween. A lot of you are going to be kind of very protective. It's like you're at that point in your life where if someone says something or looks at you the wrong way, you immediately kind of close off and you stop yourself from having fun. And you weren't like that. You were not always like that, Aquarius. So Spirit is telling you this week to kind of it's okay to protect yourself, but don't be governed by that. Every hour of every day this week is going to be something where you can create, and a lot of you are going to have ideas. Jot them down. Write down your ideas. If you're adhering to a schedule or working long hours, give yourself some time to breathe, to have a break. You need to pay attention to your body this week in particular. Another thing that's coming up is if you're around some parties and people are drinking heavily or experimenting with things that they shouldn't be, don't fall into that peer pressure that you have to, to be popular, you must do it too. And the only reason I'm bringing this through is because there's a lot of adults, believe it or not, that are in situations like that all the time. And I feel like for Aquarius, this is something that may not apply to every single one of you out there, but especially for those of you that are in that situation. You're going to also find a lot of synergy with other people, conversations, things are going to click. You could be having like a 5D conversation, a fifth dimensional type of conversation with another star being or light being from another planet. There's also, like I said, healing this week for a lot of you Aquarians, and healing some old wounds, making amends. And it may start this week. I know when I did the monthly horoscope for November for Aquarius, that was one thing that I do remember is that, a lot of you are trying to fix things that went broken or friendships that were broken in 2019. Now that, we're going into November 2019 at the end of the year. So a lot of you this week could be, doing that, picking up the phone, having a conversation, etc. And for some of you, you may not, like I said, it may not apply to everyone, but that's the energy this week for Aquarius for the week of October 28th through November the 3rd, 2019. All right, for Pisces, finally, Pisces. This week is about your home and your heart and where your heart is. A lot of you are finding happiness being with your partner, being at home. This is just, what you're craving this week. A lot of you Pisces out there may not be wanting to party or have a big celebration for Halloween. You may not even observe it in some kind of ways, and that's okay. A lot of you are also going to be very emotional this week. There could be some areas where maybe you're remembering a past love life, involving your love life, or an ex that you separated in your current life with, and there could be some feelings, some things that are kind of like buried deep within you, but that kind of come up to the surface. And Spirit is allowing this, so that the universe is allowing this as well, so that you can kind of heal through that, because I feel like a lot of you may be going through situations where you never got closure, you never received that. And so at the end of the week, like Thursday and Friday, especially with Halloween, I feel like a lot of you are going to enjoy being outside. A lot of you are going to enjoy just everything that life has to offer, especially with the new moon that starts tomorrow on the 28th of October. The new moon, is going to be a very powerful cycle. So a lot of you could be, wanting to explore those sides or areas to yourself. But overall, it's a great week, Pisces. I want to thank you all for tuning into my horoscopes this week. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Psychic Medium Ray. And don't forget to use promo code Spell Squad, which is listed here on the bottom right hand corner of the screen, for 33% off anything in my shop, with the exception of emergency readings. So if you want jewelry, if you want to pick up my book or my cards, you can take 33% off upon checkout, but use the promo code Spell Squad. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing, amazing, and fabulous week, all of you. Thank you.